Hi, and welcome once again to our great Microsoft Monday. Once again, we're here joined by the incomparable Kyle Nehs. Kyle, say hi to everybody.
Hey everyone, back again with some more Teams Rooms updates. Happy to be here, Mark, so thanks again for having me.
Excellent. Thank you for joining me. As always, it's great to have a great person like you on our staff. So there were some intelligent camera updates, if I'm not mistaken. So could you walk us through some of those great things?
So on September 1st, Microsoft actually just released a new blog post that takes a deep dive into intelligent cameras and cloud intelliframe for Teams Rooms. We did cover this topic at a high level on our last Microsoft Teams Monday because that was part of the August update that had 52 updates, and I think this was probably, for me, the biggest update. But I'm glad that Microsoft put out a deeper dive, just so we can talk about it a little bit more, because I think it's that cool, and also just so everyone has a resource to go to learn everything from A to Z about intelligent cameras with multi-stream capabilities and cloud intelliframe and what the difference between the two are. So, as you and I are, both familiar with, and I'm sure a lot of our customers, partners alike, most cameras in Teams Rooms today, they do a great job of framing the participants in the room, but at the end of the day, it's a holistic shot of everyone and everything in that room. So when I join the meeting from the far end, that's what I see. And it's great. It allows for people to participate in the meeting. They can obviously still chat and utilize other ways to interact with that meeting, but ultimately, it may not be as personal as if you or I were in the room together, or we each had our own individual cameras pointed at us, for example. And that's, ultimately what intelligent cameras and cloud intelliframe are going to help bridge that gap. So there's a distinct difference between these two features, if you will, although they ultimately accomplish the same thing, and that's giving individuals in the room their own real estate. It also helps identify who in the room is speaking, and maybe there's content on the whiteboard. It's going to help put that into focus so that those that are joining from the remote end feel like they're in the room with us when we're in that meeting. So starting out with multi-stream intelliframe on intelligent cameras, this could be a 360, it could be a 180-degree field of view, but ultimately, as you'll see in this animated graphic here, this could be a center of table device. It could also be a camera that's at the front of the room, like we're typically used to today. And what that's actually doing is putting the individuals in the room into their own squares by sending multi-streams of video into the Teams Room platform. It can also focus on whiteboard content. So if we're ideating and coming up with ideas, and maybe we're not using the virtual whiteboard, and just because there happens to be a physical one in the room, we can make sure that's in focus. And on top of all of this, we can actually also have a panoramic view. So we don't necessarily lose that kind of framing or kind of capture, like all-encompassing capture shot that we're used to when we're the remote participant joining a Teams Room meeting. These are going to be high fidelity shots, so it's not going to dilute the image quality at all. Although, as we all know, Teams is still going to be limited to 1080p, but these cameras are sending much richer video data so that when it is broken up, it's not diluted by any means. And what's really cool about these cameras is they're leveraging AI to do all of this. And when we're talking intelligent cameras, there's actually a few other things that need to be considered as well as opted into if you're the user in the room wanting to participate and use this technology. And when I say that, I'm referencing people recognition on intelligent cameras. Now that's a holistic category, but within that, there's actually going to be voice recognition as well as Teams facial recognition. So the voice recognition boils down to, say I'm in the room and I start talking. That camera's going to know that it's Kyle Nehs talking, and my name is going to be on my own individual square in the room. So it's going to know that just by my voice, and it's going to identify me. It's also going to help identify me if you enable transcripts in Teams meetings, which I think is critically important to make sure everyone's accountable for what they said they were going to do, and as well as those meeting recaps that we're going to get now with Copilot. This is going to help, again, identify who's speaking and saying what, so that follow-up should be a breeze and nothing that you or I have to keep track of, because Teams is going to do that for us. Now, on top of this, you also have to opt into Teams face recognition. So this is really allowing the AI that's built into the camera to essentially scan your face and help use that to identify you as well. Now this is going to store this data so that it knows that it is you, regardless of if you're in, say, room A or B. If they have that camera with that capability and you've opted into this, that means that you're going to be able to participate and leverage all of these features. But again, it is an opt-in, so there's a lot more information in terms of what this entails. But I do want to make sure and be crystal clear that this is something that has to be an opt-in, and it is requiring a bit more information from you than it did in the past. But ultimately, it's going to deliver a much more feature-rich experience than we've been used to from a camera perspective in the past. Now, moving on, intelligent cameras are great, and they're going to deliver a lot of great features. But we're actually going to also have another version of intelliframe, and that's cloud intelliframe. And what that allows really any camera to do is actually take that frame shot of the entire room and the participants that are in that room and split them up into 4 separate squares. So kind of similar to the intelligent frame mindset, but the biggest difference between this is a single stream of video being sent into the meeting, and then that large view is split into 4 individual squares. So it's that same real estate overall, but it's going to help frame the individual so that it's a bit more clear to understand when they're talking. It's not necessarily going to put their name on there or know, when, say, Kyle Nehs is talking in the room, but it is going to help, put everyone into focus that's in the room as if they were the ones joining the meeting remotely and had their own squares just as those on the remote end too. And again, this is for any camera. So it could be the webcam that, say, I'm using right now. It could be Lenovo's ThinkSmart Cam, for example. But this is really, again, helping to bridge the gap and ultimately deliver a more personable experience when we're joining these Teams meetings. So I think that's a pretty good overview and a little bit of detail as far as cloud intelliframe and these intelligent cameras that are coming to market. Right now, it's just the Yeeling Smart Vision 60 and the Jabra Panic S50 that do have these advanced intelliframe features, but there are going to be other OEMs that are coming in the near future that are going to leverage this. And one last thing to note, Mark, which is actually something new that I learned when browsing through this article, is some devices such as the Yeeling actually leverage Microsoft AI to run and execute on this technology and these features, whereas Jabra, for example, they actually leverage open APIs and use their own AI to ultimately deliver this experience as well. So there's not just one single way to accomplish this when it comes to intelligent cameras. So it is something to know. So it'd be interesting to see as this category develops and we start to see more cameras hit the market, how this will shake out and which route each OEM is going to take to deliver this experience for their customers. But yeah, Mark, unless you have any questions, I think that's what I had to share on intelligent cameras today.
So Kyle, one question I did have, just to make crystal clear. In the event that I did want to set up a profile, I have to opt into this and go to Microsoft and set up this profile. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's my understanding you'll do this in the Teams app, and it's going to, give you all the T's and C's and make sure you understand what you're getting into. But yes, you do have to opt into this. If you do not, then some of the features such as voice and name recognition on your individual tile will not be present. Although it's not going to limit the camera from doing what it wants to do as far as splitting up the individuals in the room and or focusing on content. This is just more so if you want to have your name there and when you start speaking, have those transcripts correlated to what you said in the meeting.
Excellent. So thank you very much for joining us today, Kyle. I just wanted to make crystal clear that was an opt-in and you have to do something about it as opposed to it's just automatically happen. For those of you who don't like the idea of Big Brother looking over your shoulder, you don't have to opt in. It's great. So in the event that you just want to do your thing, you don't have to do a thing. If you'd like to have all that great information and that facial recognition and speech recognition part of it, you do need to go to Microsoft and the Teams app and actually set this up. Once again, Kyle, I really appreciate you joining us here today. It's been a blast having you here. Thank you so much. Don't forget to check out our whole YouTube video stack. We've got lots of great videos. We've been at this for about 6 months now, and we've got 30 some odd videos ready to go for you about all kinds of fun topics, a lot of them including my good buddy Kyle Nehs right here. Thank you very much, Kyle. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity to come talk Teams with you.
Excellent. So until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'd appreciate that very much. And leave us some comments. Comments are always fun. I love reading the comments. So until next time, we'll see you then.
See you next Monday, Mark.